Guys, we made it to 2024, and for 2023 we have so much to be grateful for. My family has taken so many big steps when it comes to reaching some of our real estate goals, investing in some real estate, and starting a new company. So one of my goals too personally this year was to be better at some long-term video for my YouTube, because I've seriously been lacking on doing, I love to dance and do my short little TikToks and make my little collaborations on there, but I haven't been very good at long-term video. So that's something that I'm going to get better at this year, and I'm going to start today on January 1st with New Year, and I'm going to tell y'all how our Airbnb has been going. So a lot of questions that we get about our Lewisville home is it worth it to be an Airbnb versus a long-term rental? What are some of the expenses that go into that? Is it worth having a property management company, or should you just manage it yourself? Is it worth the headaches? Those are a lot of the questions that we get, and to be honest, I haven't really had a full year of owning an Airbnb and running an Airbnb. So we've only have data really from May is when we started, when we moved to Krum and when we started our Airbnb. In the first 2 months, we were actually managing ourselves. So our best months, which was like May, June, and July, we were actually managing it. And I don't think we handed it over to our company Evolve until September. So these are going to be based on our experience, and we won't really have, a full year of experience until May of 2024 comes around. But since it's the end of the year, or the beginning of the year, and we finished a full year of 2023, I figured I would give you some of the data that we do have. So far for the whole year, as far as expenses go, we did have a mortgage on that house still. And in the beginning of the year, we actually still had PMI. So when you have a mortgage payment, it includes your principal payment, your interest, your taxes, and your home insurance. But if you put less than 20% down on a house, you'll typically also have PMI or mortgage insurance as a part of your payment. This was an extra over $100 on our payment. So at the end of the year in October, I actually applied to have our PMI removed because we had done some significant updates to the house. And sometimes even if you haven't paid your mortgage down to 20%, you can, if the value of your home's gone up and the ratios make sense, the lender, you can apply to get it removed. And so that's what we did. We had done a new fence, we had done a fire pit, we had done a bunch of renovations to the house. And so I submitted all of our updates to the mortgage company, and they actually agreed to remove the PMI. I think I had to pay like an $80 fee or $100 fee to have them review it. They sent an appraiser out there. We paid for the house in 2021 in September around $357,000, and this is the home with the pool, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. We did some renovations to it while we were living there, and they appraised it, I think, for $420 something thousand. So that was awesome. So as far as what we've spent, we still have the mortgage on the home, so I've included that in my numbers. Our mortgage did go down, but we still pay around, let's see here. So we were paying like 21, 23, and now we're paying 2020. So it went down like around $100 about. And then the thing about an Airbnb is not only do you have the mortgage, so you have, utilities as well. You have your maid, you have people that mow your house, you have your pool guy. We pay some neighbors to take out our trash, to do leaves, like all the things can add up. But on average, what we spent from May to December on just mortgage alone was about $16,740. So that's one expense in itself. And if you just have a long-term rental, that's usually just your only expense, unless there's like any make-ready stuff or little small repairs along the way. But the utilities are the things that can really add up. And our Airbnb is an older house in Lewisville. It was built in 77, so it's about 45 years old at least. And so our utilities were averaging kind of high. So like in like May, they were only about $545, but they got pretty high in like June, or probably like July through October, because there was one month where we paid like $1,000 in utilities, and that's because we switched pool companies. So there was a lot of learning along the way that we had to, adapt. We had someone broke our pool vacuum at one point. We had to get that fixed. We had to switch pool companies because our pool company that we were using at the time, they weren't refilling the chemicals like they should, because they were only checking it once a week, and it was a service where they would literally just fill it up, and it was supposed to dispense wirelessly, and as long as it was working, the pool was clean. But if the technician didn't come to refill it, then the pool could go green in a day, and that just wasn't going to work with an Airbnb type situation, because one time we had a guest show up and it was actually green. So there was lots of learning experiences, but we really tried to just roll with the punches and not give up with every single little hard thing, because I think anything worth doing is never going to be easy. And that's just something that we chose to take on and learn and go with it. So we were just like, let's just give it a year. Let's just see how far we can get doing this on our own. We did make the decision, because we both work full-time in real estate and my husband works full-time in construction. He started his own construction business this year. We did want to hand off the management side of it to a company, so we chose to go with Evolve. And they're not completely, we're not completely hands-off. We're still like the people that they call if the guest needs something or has a question, but there's systems in place. So they basically price out our Airbnb, they advertise it, and they get it booked, and then they send everybody the house manual and everything. And then if there's a question, somebody can contact me. But for the most part, people don't usually need to contact us. So it's been really good. And I'll share with you what we've made for the year as well as what we've spent. We've spent $30,000 for the year, including everything. So that's mortgages, the $16,000 figure I gave you for the year. There's the utilities included in that. And our most expensive month was in May when we started up, because we spent $5,500 that month, because on top of the mortgage, which was, the $2,000 figure, there was another $3,000 that we had to spend to kind of get it ready. So there was the deep clean, there was make ready repairs, there was buying furniture, all of those things, professional photos, those kind of added up. So we didn't make as much money our first month, but moving forward, we saw a pattern that everything was averaging about $3,500 on average monthly, was kind of the break even to make it worth it if we were going to keep it in Airbnb or if we were going to do long-term rental, because all the expenses came down to that. So ultimately, if we weren't making, at least $4,000 a month long-term, then we might as well just make it a long-term rental, because in that area, a home with a pool can rent out long-term for around $3,000 a month. And so these are the things that we kind of had to consider and learn along the way. And then as far as made averages, in the beginning we're averaging kind of high, but we switched to an hourly maid that we love, and that saved us a little bit of money on the end, and she does a really good job. So in the beginning we were averaging I think $600 a month, and then towards the end of the year we're averaging more like $250 to $350 on maid fees a month. I'm a spreadsheets nerd, so I just kept everything in an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet, so I could kind of see what was going on. And then I would document every time we got a stay too. So on average, I think our best month was June. We made $7,200 in June. And for the year, we made $32,530 for Airbnb booking income. So that's great. But because we spent $30,000, income wise, we only made $2,500 for the whole year. But again, we were getting it started up in May. So if you didn't include that startup year, we might have made more like $5,000. But when you're looking at it as a whole, our long-term rental made a little bit more. We have a long-term rental in Denton, and they pay $2,100 a month. And then on that house, the mortgage is less because we bought it in 2015. So it cash flows maybe $800 or $900 a month. And so it's making a little bit more than $2,500. However, I'm still a happy camper keeping this in Airbnb, because it's paying the bills and it's appreciating. And so over time, as long as I'm not losing money, I'm happy that things are being paid. So hopefully that kind of gives y'all an idea on whether or not an Airbnb is worth it. Evolve only charges us about a 10% fee per booking for the management fee, and all my figures included in here are after that's already come out. So they actually project us, and these are only based on, so when I said I've made $32,500, that's only from May to December. And so that's not including January, February, March, and April in those figures. And so it's pretty close to what Evolve is saying, because Evolve, when they took over, they told us that with our area that we're projected to make anywhere from $53,000 to $59,000 a year. Now that's before expenses, mortgage and maid and all of that, but it's after their fee. So we were like, oh, that sounds pretty good, because annually our long-term in Denton was only making around $24,000, I think. So we really liked those figures to give it a try. And the good thing is too, sometimes because it's a short-term rental, we can house other people in it. So come this January through March, we're actually housing someone who's getting their house remodeled for like 3 months, and they're going to be paying us like a higher market rent. So like $4,500 a month for 3 months. And so that's going to be a great start to the year. And it's actually helping us fund our renovation for our shower remodel that we've been wanting to do for a long time in the primary bedroom, because it just has like loose tiles and it's an older house and it just needed to be redone. So yeah, this has been a learning journey for us. I hope this is helpful whenever you're buying in real estate. So like I'm a realtor, and lots of times I help people, yes, buy their first home or build new construction, but also buy like investment properties and second homes for either renovations or long-term buy and hold for doing Airbnbs or long-term rentals. You just want to consider your city laws, because there are some cities who don't allow Airbnbs. Some of them have banned Airbnbs. I know in Dallas specifically, you have to have it zoned commercial for it to be allowed to be an Airbnb. You can't just like do one in a residential city. Lewisville didn't have any laws, although there were some people there were some problem properties in Lewisville on the lake, I think, that were hurting a bunch of other Airbnb owners, and they had a city council meeting about it, and they thought about doing a temporary ban, but thank goodness they haven't actually passed that or voted on that yet. I think there's a lot of people that see the good in what Airbnbs can do for the community if they're done right, and they're not turned into like party houses, because some of these people were like, you know, building bunk beds and probably putting like 10 people in a room and stuff that just wasn't, you know, gonna abide by city laws. But our Airbnb, for example, only houses 8 people. So it's 2 people per bedroom. It's a 4-bedroom house. It's got rules, quiet hours, all the things. So I think if it's done properly, it can truly be a tool to, you know, build a community. We have neighbors who help, you know, mow the grass, do the lawn. It gives their sons a job to do. It shows people to the area. It helps our family create wealth for the future. It's just, I think that there's so many better things that outweigh the bad things, as long as it's being done in a correct way. So we're along for the ride. Whatever happens, we're willing to adapt if we need to turn it into a long-term in the future. But for now, we're super excited to be on this journey, and we're just rolling with the punches, and we'll just tell you how it goes. We'll do a video for the shower renovation too once we're done, because I'm excited to show the reveal on that. So I hope you'll have a happy new year, and don't be scared to try new things, because I know there's a lot of unknowns, but you learn a lot along the way. So just go for it.